about even with Montreal. So like it's not quite the same as New York City. We're not
True.
we're not on the same latitude, as it were.
True.
The fuck was that?
Long story. I'm taking a picture of notes I have on my monitor, but I don't feel like turning like this during the show. So that's all it was. I didn't realize how blatant it looked on the screen because I was not looking at the
crazy.
screen. So
I didn't know, like, if you were fixing your makeup. Like, I didn't know what was happening. That was a crazy move.
No, I'm not. Fixing my makeup is crazy. But yeah.
And it's like, listen, it was the home opener week. My team, the Portland Sea Dogs, were playing, and they had snow on opening day. Like, how the fuck Marcelo, Roman, Blaze, and the fellas supposed to deal with these goddamn conditions? I just can't have that.
They're the cornerstones of the Red Sox's future, so they're gonna have to learn to play in cold Northeast weather. They'll be all right.
They are the cornerstones, and they're going to be playing with Ceddanne Rafaela, it would appear, who got an 8-year deal. I believe I was reading earlier with a 9th-year option. I didn't expect it.
What
Did not.
It was like 63, right?
If that was, well, no. Where did you see that number?
I mean, I saw the 8 for 60 something. Maybe I didn't know that he had a team option until this very moment, or an option rather.
Yeah, that was the most 8 for 50 with a team option of 16 for 2032. Not even a real year. There are escalators for 2030, 2031, and 2032 based on accolades, all-star selections, and or MVP votes. If Ceddanne Rafaela gets MVP votes, this is the best contract signed in MLB history. I don't know that that's necessarily a fear the Red Sox have, but that's pretty standard fare in any contract. If any player wins MVP, there's typically bonuses just to cover the player. It's like $1 million, something like that. Don't know if he's going to hit those ones as much as I love Ceddanne. But this was unexpected, and it's like positive news, but everyone wants the Casas extension, so that's where it was just like, all right, I don't have a problem with this by any means, that we know they're at least engaging their younger players. I saw a couple of people say this was a robbery for the Red Sox. I don't necessarily agree. Jackie Bradley Jr. made $55 million for his career and came into the MLB with much higher pedigree than Ceddanne Rafaela. That's not a shot at Rafaela. That's just how good. Jackie Bradley Jr. is one of like the most decorated college baseball players of all time. It just is what it is. Jackie got ping-pong between AAA and the majors because he couldn't hit. I think, if anything, this just keeps Rafaela on the major league roster, regardless of what his bat does, because his glove's so elite, as long as it's not like a routine pop fly an inning after your franchise shortstop breaks his shoulder diving for a single. He's going to catch everything else, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. Right now, the debate is, should he play short? David Hamilton, I mean, he's getting grounders hit right at him, right through the legs. Love the speed profile on David Hamilton and all that. If he can't make the routine plays, it's going to be real hard for me to defend him holding that position. A lot of Red Sox fans are talking mighty familiar with Von Grissom's defense, as if anyone was watching Braves games 2 years ago. I'm not going to pretend like he's a Gold Glover. He played a full season of shortstop for the Braves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he's done. I guess that, was that Dansby's injury year? It must have been.
Or sure Dansby wasn't a Cub by that point?
No, he definitely was. Dansby wasn't a Cub till last year.
Yeah, true.
Vaughn was supposed to take over at shortstop last year. Right. And so maybe he never played shortstop. He was supposed to take over at shortstop last year. He got beat out by Arcia. And then just played second, and then that's what it was. He was playing second because Albies got hurt. That's why he got brought up when he got brought up. So he never played short. He came up as a shortstop, not necessarily the position. How many games at short did he play? 2. 2 and 22, 19 and 23. And Arcia just kind of stole that job off of him. 97% fielding percentage when he played short last year. Listen, there was a 19-game sample, much better than what David Hamilton and the fellas can produce right now. Pablo Reyes is fine. Do I want to do a full season of Pablo Reyes? Not necessarily. So it's tough. Rafaela came up as a middle infielder. We moved him to outfield recently because we thought we had a shortstop. If the plan is next year he's going to be your center fielder, I wouldn't move him off center field. I just wouldn't. He needs more reps. He's may win Gold Glove, may win Platinum Glove if he stays in center field this year. Moving him to shortstop this year, you might as well just make him your shortstop full time, and that opens a whole bunch of different issues financially. But I don't really see the argument. And it's something I've thought about a lot, and a lot of people are like, yeah, just put him there. If you're going to put him at short, what's really the excuse next year to move him back to center? You've taken a year of development away from him being an outfielder if you move him to short right now.
True. As far as his contract in the first place, calling it a robbery seems rather presumptuous because we don't know if he can hit. Like, we know he can field his ass off.
At all.
We understand that that's loud and clear. We do not know if he can hit. Do I think he's going to he's gonna exceed the value of said contract? Yes. Because it for $6 million in given his defense, like I think it's a good contract for the Red Sox. Robbery is it's hyperbole, whatever. That is what it is. But the Red Sox doing that was smart business, and I mean I'll talk about Anthony Volpe later. I think the Yankees should be on his line right fucking now, trying to get that done. In a similar fashion, obviously he'd be making more, but point remains, I think they should be on the line in a similar fashion. But yeah, as far as the moving him aspect of it, I definitely think there's something to be said for that because you can't really ping pong somebody between center field and short. That doesn't that doesn't fly. So it's like, do I think he could do it? Yeah, sure, but you don't really try and ping pong somebody between center and short. If you're going to move him off of center right now, to me the way to go is just have him be the super utility guy, have him move all over the place. I don't think that's what they should fucking do. But if you're going to move him off, I think that's the path you should go instead of just playing him at short every day. Because if you play him at short every day, you are creating more issues. Because I've seen him fucking field. You play him at short, you're asking for a controversy later on next year when Trevor comes back. You're asking for a controversy. So I mean that might not be a good way to do business, but it's a part of the equation whether we like it or not. So I don't think they should move him off of short, center right now. I agree.
Even the moving him around stuff. Like once Vaughn comes back, your second base is locked. You know what I mean? He's just playing second base. Third base is locked. First base is locked. Not that you're going to play him at first. He's 5'4". Right. And then it's like you don't really have anyone else that can play a capable center. I know some people are higher on Duran. He also just dropped a pop fly, and I thought he was going to break his hand punching a wall because of how upset at himself he was. You can't play like he's been playing his best baseball of his career in left field. You can't move him back to center, especially a guy who's been super open about like how he deals with his emotions and how hard on himself he is. You're setting him up to further fail. And right now he's been one of like 3 bright spots on this team. So you have to keep him in left. So you're going to play Abreu in center, which the front office was telling you this is Juan Soto reincarnate over the winter. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Tyler O'Neill, we all just assume is a ticking time bomb in terms of when he's going to get hurt. When he's not hurt, he just hits a solo home run every opening day he plays, and then sprinkles in a couple more outside of that. He's basically
believing every day is opening day. He'd be Barry Bonds.
Right now, him and Mike, I think I saw a stat like Mike Trout's last 12 home runs have all been solo home runs.
He broke that last night.
And Tyler O'Neill.
He broke that last night.
Oh, did he hit 2 last night?
It was a 2-run homer.
Oh, okay.
Finally.
Maybe that's why I saw it. The previous 12 had been solo home runs.
Finally.
Tyler O'Neill has six. Was he at 6 or 7 right now?
I think he's at
Home
6.
runs, all of
All
them,
of them are solo.
all of them with nobody on base.
I love that. I love that. Keep it going.
It's
I
very
love that.
funny. It's very funny. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not trying to move Rafaela off center. Like if that's going to be his position for the foreseeable future, moving him feels like, I don't know. You have a cut on your arm and you broke your leg, so you take the band-aid off your arm and put it on your leg. Like it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't fix anything at all.
I love that analogy. That's great.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
really fixes. Like you still have an issue because you don't unless you want to move. I think Tyler O'Neill could play center. You want to move Tyler O'Neill to center, move Rafael to short. Understood. I still don't think you just told us you think this guy might be on your team in 2033. Like that's what the contract says, right? You just told us this. He's playing center field. You probably should just keep him there. If he had 2 years of team control left, all right, man, do whatever. At that point, fine. If there's no future there, okay, cool. You think he's a building block? You're telling us this. There's no him in center field works. Just stick with what fucking works. We know it works. It works. Stick with what works.
I think the only argument I see, like if we're throwing somebody that we know is a ground ball pitcher like Bayo, where is his defense most valuable that day? Like if we know we're going to see more grounders than usual, and he's 23, if there's going to be a time to try and ping pong someone between center and short, it may as well be when they're this young and full of hope and energy. Like you can't do that. Like Mookie, I feel like you have to just pick a position, and that's what he's playing this year. Like he's on the other side of 30. I don't know that he should be moving all over the place anymore. With Rafaela, if you want to do it pitcher to pitcher, I guess I still don't love it. Like, 'cause I still want him to get those reps out in center. Fenway's such a stupid center field that the more reps, the better. So I don't know. There's just no good answer here, and it just sucks because they come off the second longest West Coast trip to start a season in their 124-year history, and the vibes are high, and you get this injury to a guy who I was never going to believe in his bat. He had been hitting. I didn't know that was going to continue. There's just not a lot of proof to that. But his glove was going to be more consistent than any other option. And you just had guys in their right position. I think that's more the frustrating part. Like, should Story have ever been hitting third? No, of course fucking not. But you had a shortstop that has played shortstop at the major league level before. And now you just don't. You don't have that really anywhere. And it's just like, this is sick. Awesome.
Yeah, his post game just gnawed at my spirit. It was so bad. It was just like, yeah, I feel so bad for this guy, man.
No one feels worse for him than he does.
Yeah,
he was.
It was terrible. I feel so bad for the guy, but life goes on, man. They got to figure out who to play shortstop, and as somebody who has a vested interest in this, I hope they keep playing David Hamilton. Big fan of that. Big fan.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the idea of Hamilton hitting ninth and Duran hitting leadoff, just because I'd be hard pressed to find a faster back to back in like the league. Like no joke. I don't know that exists. I don't know if there's a faster duo anywhere in baseball hitting a back to back in the league. So but it would also require Hamilton getting on base, which I don't know. I think he was like I want to say like 250 guy last year, and I know he had like a wrist injury and he was much better before that, but it's not like he was ever known as some like elite hit tool guy.
Do the Braves still hit fucking Michael Harris ninth? They probably do.
I feel like it's a little different.
Him and Acuna would win that race by no pun intended, race, but they'd win that race by a good distance as far as fastest 9-1 goes. But
I don't know if they would.
Sure would.
By good distance, no, definitely not. For sure, for
No,
sure not. And to the fact that I still don't even know if
either
they'd
way.
win, let alone by a good
Either
distance.
way, they're much better players. We could agree on that at least.
Yeah, no shit. No one's debating that. That was not the conversation at all.
To get a reaction.
Fucking obviously. Hamilton last year at AAA posted an 801 OPS, and I know he did a lot of that with a fucked up wrist. And 21, that's the fall league. The fall league's good competition, but that's 14 games. I don't really give a fuck about the 916 OPS he posted there. Yeah, it's one of these things. It's just shit. Nick Pavetta's down contract year. They're claiming he's going to be back by the time his IL stint's over. He'd be the only pitcher in baseball that applies to. So I
see it, bro. I believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Every day it's a new guy with the elbow, man. Every fucking day. It's like, God damn, can we get like a 2-day reprieve? 3-day reprieve? Maybe a week even. Not every fucking day. It's like, and I get it. Injury, like, when a lot of injuries happen in a short time frame, it always feels like this is the worst we've ever seen. So like it always feels that way. And in this case, let's call a spade a spade. It feels worse because there's a lot of bigger name guys who are going through this type of stuff.
Sure.
But still though, it's every day. Like, every day, this guy's elbow injury. This guy's elbow injury. This guy's. It's like, fuck, man. Can we get a break? Bro. No. Every time somebody's velo goes up or down, I'm in hell. I'm just like, all right, man. End it all. Like, end it all. Just let me know when the IL stint comes. Fucking Kevin Gausman threw an 85-mile-an-hour fastball last week. 85. I watched it. I was like, they said 85. They said fastball. I'm like, yo, am I tripping? Did that just happen? Like, yes, it might have been a bad splitter. Point remains. He still throws a splitter like 91 anyway. So I'm just sitting like, oh God, here we go. And then the Yankees clapped him. I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting for the Kevin Gausman IL notification. Just let me have it. It's the worst.
Right. I can't understand the people who are so ardent in saying what it is or isn't. Like, if there were an answer, they would have adjusted by now. They don't know the answer.
And it's so very clearly a lot.
But the people,
it's so very clearly a lot of things.
Correct.
So very clearly.
The people that have bothered me are the ones who are like, obviously it's not the pitch clock. Like, what do you mean, obviously? Like, what do you mean? This thing that's existed for a season and a month, and all of these injuries have happened at the exact same time. I don't know that we should just throw it out the window immediately. I don't know.
Small sample, so I don't know how you could say with any kind of confidence that it has nothing to do with the pitch clock. If one wants to say it's not about the pitch clock solely, different argument, because you are absolutely correct.
Agreed.
The pitch clock has nothing to do with this. How the fuck do you know? How do you know?
Right.
Are you the one doing the surgery? How do you know this shit has nothing to do? Are you doing research about this? How do you know it has nothing to do with the pitch clock? Like, I think we were always going to end up here, personally, because, again, as we mentioned on previous episodes of the show, the hunt for efficiency is what lands us here. Everybody wants to be the most efficient they could be. Everybody's going max effort, which, I mean, I don't fault you. You're trying to win. That this is the trade-off, right? You're trying to win. The guys are trying to get paid. Velocity gets you paid. Fair or not, that's what it is. Velocity gets you paid. So we were always going to get to a point where this stuff was happening. And James Andrews brought up a good point about like guys in, you know, when they're kids doing too fucking much, breaking balls, just throwing 90 when you're like 15, this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, your UCL hasn't matured yet, blah, blah, blah. He brought up a good point about that. So it's a lot of things, bro. It's a lot of things.
Well, Passan wrote a book on pitching about a decade ago, and all of his research and findings said, like, breaking pitches really, they couldn't find any correlation between breaking pitches and needing Tommy John, which shocked me because growing up, every coach in my life was like, if you throw a curveball, your arm's going to fall off.
For sure.
It was insane to read that it was just like, no, it's all fastball. And to me, with the pitch clock, you've taken players at various stages of their career and have been like, hey, you know how you used to jog through a start? You have to sprint now.
Yeah.
How is that not more taxing? Yeah. Like, how, just, if you don't think about it like an arm, if you think about it like your legs, if I went to the gym and you had like a 6 pace and I cranked it up to 23, I don't know that you'd run as far as you used to. Like, that's just not how this works. So it's crazy to me. It would be one thing, and I know like Felix Bautista, and I don't know, I can't remember why. Who's the Brewers closer? I'm blanking on his name. Devin Williams. I had Hamilton on the brain. I knew it was a D. So and we got him from the Brewers. So I was like, I know it's not David Hamilton. I can't remember how he got hurt, but it's not like a rash of closers have gone down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not the guys who are emptying the tank for one inning because nothing's really changed for them. That's always been their job. They're used to that. It's starters who are now having to sprint through 5-6 innings as opposed to, like, I always thought it was pretty overblown, guys taking their time. There were, of course, people who were egregious with it, like Josh Beckett immediately jumps to mind. There were definitely guys who were egregious with it. It wasn't like there was this wasn't a bigger concern. Baseball just wanted more attention. That's all. It wasn't about pitchers are abusing this. That was never true. So I just can't stand the people who are like, you can throw the pitch clock stuff out. Nothing to do with it.
Why do you say such a thing? What info are you privy to that I'm not? I would like to know, since you've got your degree and you know every fucking thing. I'd like to know. I'd like to know how we got here. How did we land here that you are just so confident in this?
For me, it's like kids are taught mechanics, and my biggest fear when they introduced the pitch clock is we would lose like the Hideo Nomos, Johnny Cuetos, like everybody who had a different type of windup. Right. Like we would lose that part. It's not the reason people tune in by any stretch, but like everyone did like a Barry Zito leg kick when we were growing up. You know what I mean? Everybody would copy. It's the same thing with batting stances. Like every kid in New England did Nomar's batting glove and that whole routine. Like those are the little things that make you attached to a player, not necessarily fall in love with the sport, but fall in love and root for a player. And my biggest concern, or one of my biggest concerns when they introduced the pitch clock is like, oh, everyone's just going to be trained to throw the exact same way because now everyone's on this short ass leash where they got to get the next pitch gone. So we're going to lose that uniqueness of it. But when you factor that in with now everyone's being taught to throw hard and fast, not pitch, like no mechanics behind it. They're just teaching you, grip it and rip it. I'm going to teach you how to maximize every mile per hour out of your arm. There's no way that's healthy for elbows. Like, there's just no way. Verlander, who's on a minor league rehab stint right now, obviously he's 1,000 years old. That has more to do with why he's hurt than anything else. He was talking about his journey to the majors, and he was saying, like, yeah, I didn't start throwing hard until my body filled out. Like, my mechanics stayed the same. I just became a bigger human being, and the miles per hour came with it. What a novel concept. Like, what? Like, that's how it used to happen. I also don't understand the people. Like, I see people strike out on 91 every day.
Oh, yeah.
Every day I watch people strike out 91, low 80s. Yeah, this idea that you can only get people out.
Fucking throw fastballs for whatever that's worth.
Well, we're ahead of the curve. That's Andrew Bailey. He's trying to fix this problem by himself. The Nick Pivetta injury is not helping his case, but that remains. I genuinely think like it's not a thing. It's not like something you can ban. You can't ban. Like, how do you ban Hunter Green, his 100? You know what I mean? Paul Skeens seems like a guy, and knock on wood, I'm genuinely not trying to jinx him because I have no ill will towards the Pirates. He seems to have that like Roger Clemens style body frame that naturally allows him to throw 100. It's not like inorganically produced by some hack that some pitching coach figured out.
I mean, ultimately, it just feels like the toothpaste is out of the tube. Like, I hate to be the negative guy here, but it feels like the toothpaste out of the tube. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do about this because this starts way before these guys get to the majors in the first place, and B, what are you supposed to tell them? Like, again, guys with velo get paid. What are you supposed to tell them? Throw slower. That's just, you can't ban it. obviously, like, can teams care more about their players? Sure. Is that realistic? No. So I'm not sure what exactly you're supposed to fucking do here.
So I just saw a chart. Reported Tommy John surgeries for pitchers during the first 100 days of each calendar year. Pro indicates players at all levels. MLB shows only major leaguers. So there are 16 so far this year. Last year there were 23. 2021 there were 47, which makes a little bit of sense when you consider most minor league pitchers didn't do anything in 2020. They couldn't. So since 2001, 16 is on the, I would say, lower side of things. The lowest was 10 in 2008 and only 2 in the whole pros. That feels wild.
Yes, it does.
But when you do look at the major league versus every level of baseball, there were 2 last year, 3 the year before, 11 and 21, which again makes sense. 9 this year. I feel like also 100 days when baseball season's as long as it is isn't exactly the best.
Right. Like I'd like to know what
metric.
the deal is like after 200 days, after 300. Like I'd like to know. So it's not nothing. Shout out to
it's not nothing.
Research, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, that was
Travis
Sawchik.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to know further down the line, but I mean, it kind of leads to my point. Like, yes, it always feels like this is the worst injury rash of injuries you've ever seen in the moment, when most of the time it's just like, yeah, people get hurt. If you throw baseballs hard,
but it's also like,
I mean, you throw baseballs, period, you get hurt, really. But yeah,
no doubt. I mean, Story's first or second injury came with him playing catch, like trying to get stretched out to play shortstop. Like it truly is one of those things that can happen at any point. Chris Sale, he got hurt. Was like gearing up for 21. When was the lockout? 21? Yeah.
Was it 20?
When he was at the lockout, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year. No, last year was 23, so it was 22. I keep thinking last year was 22. So it was 22. I know he's one of these ones. He got hurt, or that wasn't Tommy John, but he got hurt working out unsanctioned at Florida Gulf Coast because he literally couldn't work out anywhere else. He was locked out. So it's just like, guys, it's baseball. People get hurt in the weirdest fucking ways every single year. Shout out Clint Barnes, who was the Colorado Rockies franchise shortstop, and then he fell down a flight of stairs. Like, that happens. And then Troy Tulowitzki took his job, and we never heard from Clint Barnes again until many years later, where he had a little bit of a run with the Pirates. Like, it happens that quickly for some players.
Falling down the steps.
So yeah, there's obviously, yeah, it is. There's obviously something going on, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. I don't necessarily enjoy like watching pitching like I used to, because it feels like a lot of the art form is gone. Catchers don't call shit anymore. Catchers are almost useless. And yeah, pitchers. I also don't like, I saw this, I can't remember what broadcast I was watching. I've noticed a lot more guys going to their ear during the game. Everyone wears pitch comm now. What the fuck is going on?
The Cardinals Dodgers game from a few weeks back. They had Enrique Hernandez on. They had him. They were interviewing him during the game, and they hacked into the not hacked the system, but the system. It was loud and clear what was going on. And Gavin Stone did not want to throw any fastballs. It was really funny. It was like, yeah, fastball, put away. Like, no, change up. All right, got it. This just happened for an entire inning. Like, I would like to go back to that inning and see how many fastballs compared to how many changeups you threw. But yes, everybody has pitch comm now. That's a thing. Catchers kind of just sit there and catch the ball. That's what catchers do nowadays. They block, they catch, they throw. They don't really. The game calling thing seems to be a thing of yesteryear. That's what it seems to be.
It's crazy. It's like I don't like it. I don't like that part of it. Like, I'd much rather sign stealing and all that shit. I genuinely hate pitch comm. Like, it's
Like I feel similarly. A very small part of me feels similarly about the prospect of robo umps, simply because I think framing is a skill, and yes, I get it. I get it. Framing is scamming. Okay, I get it. Somebody's gonna say it. Fine. Framing is scamming. Scamming is a skill. Scamming successfully is a skill, and if you could fool the fucking umpires 10 times a game, you should be rewarded for it, in my opinion. Now, if they get the robo ups in there, I'm not gonna fucking cry about it because I've watched Angel Hernandez for what 30 fucking years now. I've watched Joe West in previous years. I mean, the fact that those are only two umpires I can name. As a matter of fact, I was at the stadium the other day. He got booed loudly. Angel Hernandez. It was very funny. He got
Angel
booed very
Hernandez,
fucking loudly. It was great. It was. I've never heard an umpire get booed at a baseball game before until that day.
Well, it's another thing I know Chris Towers talks about a lot is like balls and strikes have just gotten way more consistent over the last 10 years. And I don't doubt that. Like, that's just data. There's nothing for me to argue there. It's more like when they miss is typically catastrophic. Like Tristan Casas's on base percentage is in the gutter because umpires keep striking him out on ball 8. Like, it's just
like there wasn't a bat. What yesterday? Yesterday was home run. Yeah, yesterday.
Yes.
And he got what? He got punched out after 2 straight balls, if I'm not mistaken. It was like,
yeah.
Come on, dude. And this has happened to Casas pretty frequently this year as well. He's getting consistently fucked on that. And as a fan of a team who employs Aaron Judge, I can relate. I understand.
Yeah. Tall guys, that low strike, that low
Salacious.
part of the strike zone, umps are truly just guessing, like genuinely guessing.
Getting calls on balls out middle shin. I'm like, what is this? Why? And you've been doing this for 7 years. Like, there's no adjustment. There's no like, obviously low for him and low for Jose Altuve. It's not the fucking same. Why are we still doing this? It's 7 years later. Why?
Have you seen the challenge system in the minors for balls and strikes?
I haven't seen it.
It takes like all of 6 seconds, if that. Like, there's no. It's the same as when they challenge in tennis and they go to. I don't know why tennis has this. I've never heard anyone complain about the tennis in or out. I don't know tennis that well, but every time I see it, and they go to like that 3D. Where did the ball exactly hit? I have no fucking idea why only tennis has that. No clue. Yeah, I don't know why. Did you just get that thing from Riverside?
I'm still here. Okay.
That happened the other day too.
Trying to reconnect, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. Okay.
No, it happened the other day too. You heard everything I just said too, right?
I did.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
But
but tennis has had that technology my entire life, and no other sport's been like, that works so well, we're just going to ignore it entirely. Every sport could use that. Football could use that today. They could absolutely use that today.
And the thing is, it's so negligent that it feels intentional. But like, what are they trying to prevent? Is the thing I don't understand. Like, what are they trying to prevent here? Is it you just don't want to spend more money on that? That's the only thing I could think of. But that feels like that's missing the point. So I don't like tennis has shown you the blueprint. They've shown you the way. It's right there. And they've had this forever, bro. Like, forever. I was watching the U.S. Open when Venus and Serena first came out. And this was still going on. That was like 1998. Right. Like, we're still measuring first down with a fucking chain, with chains, bro. Why?
It's crazy. And spotting the ball like by pure it feels like it's probably over here. What do you mean? Bro, I remember talking to my dad when I was like 12. I was like, why don't they just put a chip in the ball? He was like, it would mess up like the trajectory of the ball. I was like, I guess maybe like the slightest amount. Like, what do we 0.01%? Like, how heavy is this fucking chip gonna be?
I mean, I don't understand I don't understand why the rest of the sports don't just catch up to tennis in that regard. It seems very easy to me.
Super easy, and they refuse. But they have been trying it out in the minors. And it's one of those things, I believe it's catcher initiated because it should be. They make him useful again. And they have the best fucking view out of anybody. So if they feel like, yeah, no, that was definitely a strike, you're obviously not going to be like, no, ump, you got it wrong. That was off the plate. Although the batters can also, yeah, batters and catchers can challenge, is what it is. And they literally just kind of like put their hand up. The ump has no say over it. They go to like the Sunday Night Baseball camera where it shows whether or not it broke the plane, and they just whatever it says is the call. And again, it takes all of 6 seconds. That should be implemented today.
I need to see Juan Soto with a challenge system. I need. He gonna challenge every fucking thing. I mean, do they limit the? I mean, obviously they limit it, but how they limit it?
Yeah, there's gonna have to be something. Otherwise, I would just be up there all day being like,
Juan
no.
Soto would never get called. It would never be a strike against him ever again. He would just be like, all right, challenge.
Cass is the same way. He should like. I think Cass is honest enough where if you let him call balls and strikes, he would strike himself out if it was truly over the plate. He'd be like, "No, you got me. That's a strike."
I feel the same way about Soto. It's like he'll just he'll hey, god damn it. He'll tip his cap like, all right, man, you got me. Like I've seen him do it.
Yeah, I'm not. I think he would tip his cap. I don't know that he'd do it every time.
I mean, the Yankees play a clean style of baseball. I think he's integrated into that pretty well.
I don't know if there's any proof of that. He finally hit his first home run at home. Did you guys rob the person who caught it like the Dodgers robbed the person who caught Ohtani? I'm glad you
brought that up. Because what I don't understand here is the negotiation process where homegirl said that she was basically bullied into giving them the ball back because she said, I don't know if any of this is true. I just read one piece where the Dodgers threatened to not authenticate the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the baseball fan. Maybe she's not as big a baseball fan as me. I don't think it takes baseball fandom to realize, okay, if I leave here and you don't authenticate the baseball, we all lose. Who cares at that point?
Right.
Like this way, the way that ended up happening, I lose. I'm the only one who loses. Everybody else wins. The Dodgers win. Shohei wins. Everybody wins. I fucking lose. If I leave here with this shit because you ain't giving me what I want, and you say we're not going to authenticate the baseball, we all lose. We all get zero, bro. We all lose. I read that. I was like, why? Maybe you're just not thinking in the moment, and sure, but I didn't understand that. I really didn't.
I feel like the Dodgers intentionally put a lot of pressure on her. The story was like they separated her from her group.
Yes,
it was like what?
Yes, they isolated her. Like this was a scene straight in a fucking police station. It was like
yeah, it felt very accomplished for sure. And shout out, I know it was the LA Times or Athletic writer who had it. It was one of the Dodgers beat reporters for writing it. So shout out them for even writing this story, because I know a lot of teams would have buried this shit immediately. But yeah, just the whole way the Dodgers have been moving, which I tried to call out when everyone was singing their fucking praises, sucking their dicks. Like they have done some terrible things in recent history, and people are just kind of fine with it for some reason. Like that's how you know baseball on the West Coast just does not matter the same. It just doesn't.
That's legit. That's legit. Because I mean,
like
bro, the Shohei thing has gone by the board largely. Like we make our jokes. But bro, like, yo, that was a gambling scandal, and we don't fucking talk about it anymore. If that man, and I'm not saying it's from a whiny, oh, woe is me, my team gets the bad coverage perspective, but let a Yankee get caught up in the same shit. We would never hear the fucking end of that shit, ever.
That would be great. That'd be unbelievable.
It would be awful.
But even like a Met, a Philly, like anywhere in this Northeast. Yeah.
There's no way that shit would go. Like that shit ran for like 3 days and then we stopped caring. It was
right.
I don't understand. Like MLB was supposed to be doing this investigation. What happened to that?
I mean, they probably still are. This is every time there is an investigation, people expect it's a no-win situation when you say you've opened an investigation, because people expect answers within like 12 hours. But if you have answers in 12 hours, they're like, you didn't dig deep enough.
I don't expect answers. I expect progress reports. I think that's fair. Like, just something. Like, yeah,
Still
right.
looking.
Something. A thumbs, two thumbs up. Like, we're still at it. Just let you know that we're on the up and up here. Even if you faking the thumb, even if you lying, fine. I would like a progress report. Because again, if he played for the Mets, we would have progress reports one way or the
Well, there'd be a dedicated beat writer
other.
to it that would be
Right.
filing stories every day.
Exactly.
Like that's the
Right.
difference. And like Dodgers and Giants fans will like knife each other over the result of a game. So like the fans care, but the markets are just
Way different.
different. Like that, it's not like the sickness that we have over here for all sports, not even just baseball, all of the sports. It's sickening how much of our lives they encapsulate, but it is what it is. Like that's why I can't ever take people on the West Coast super seriously when they're like, we care. They don't.
Not untrue.
But yeah, did you guys, I don't know, beat the shit out of the person who
Man, I
caught
didn't
it?
hear.
And...
I was there. I didn't hear one thing about the ball. Not one thing. So I don't know. I guess they exchanged it peacefully because I heard nothing about it. So
yeah, or he just kept playing baseball. Like I don't. Not every home run's a souvenir.
true.
For the player, for the
Right.
fans, it's a souvenir. But for the player, like, why does I give a fuck? The first Dodgers home
But yeah, I
run.
don't. I didn't. But they said if they sold it, it would have been worth like $100K, I believe, something like that. And I'm just like, how did we land there? What is so significant about his first Dodgers home run? It was in the middle of a game. He's hit a million of them previous to this, so I don't know.
It's one of those things. He's such an interesting person. If they had sold it immediately, it's like the Judge Ball. That Judge Ball, people were like, "Oh, you could get millions for this," and then he held on to it instead of selling it the second it was caught. And I can't even remember what the total number was, but I know it wasn't what he was offered the same
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that's tough. Like I'm very big on just taking the damn money while you can get it. Because I mean, again, Judge's AL record breaking home run ball. Yeah. Um, what did you think? You thought it was going to go up? Again, he does not have the actual record. Like if he hits 74, okay, and you want to keep it, fine. It's 74 home runs. 62 is kind of just like it's a fad, really. Like we cared about that very briefly. We're gonna keep it a bean, and we know why they pushed that the way they pushed it.
Sure.
One, homeboy plays for the Yankees. So call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Two, everybody ahead of him, they was getting their needle on, allegedly, supposedly. So
It's still he still got 1.5 for it, which
really,
was more than
less
I
than that.
remembered.
But good for him.
But he was offered 3 that same day, and I feel like he played that as bad as he could. If you're gonna hold it for a while. You know what I mean? Like I know you run the risk of someone else hitting more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that technically exists, but Yankee fans, like it's such a big fan base, you know a certain amount of them have very deep pockets. And also who's to say there's not some like 12-year-old Yankee fan right now who becomes a multi millionaire when he's 30 and he's like, "You know what? I'll pay $10 million for the Aaron Judge home run ball. No problem." Like that's where you hold on to it. Selling it like a month and a half later is the like you said, all the buzz is gone. No one really gives a fuck
Nobody
anymore.
cares.
Like what?
Like,
What was the plan?
Like when Judge about to retire, it was a good time to sell that shit. Anything is
Right.
better than like, okay, I'm gonna hold it for 2.5 months and then sell it. Why? What was the point of that?
Yeah, that's just poor investment strategy. But the rest of the team, Yankees still in first place. Took what 2 out of 3 out of Toronto.
Yes.
What happened there? Tried to only take 1 out of 3.
Did they? Oh yeah. The Saturday game.
Weren't you up like 9-1 and won 9-8?
Yeah, I mean the Yankees treated food like it was food. They treated the Blue Jays like they're supposed to treat the Blue Jays. They're losers. They treated them like they're supposed to treat them. Yes, I understand Saturday's game was a fancy fake ass comeback. Great. They fucking lost as they fucking should have. Opening day, can't hear you. Oh,
I didn't say anything.
got it. Lips are moving. My fault.
Well, I was going, after 2 games, the Blue Jays shut you out game 1. I remember that correctly. Yes, it was 3-0.
Yes.
And then game 2 was 9-8. It's like, all right, they're up 11-9 in this series. I know it's not how baseball works, but a convincing win. No, it isn't, but it was like a convincing win Sunday. Was like, all right, you guys both had a convincing win, and you both kind of look like shit in the middle here.
Hey, man, the Blue Jays are who they are. You're not going to get me to respect them. Like, they just...
No, I mean, they are. But you're also not going to get the rest of the world to respect Yankee fans, which I know that's not what any Yankee fan cares about.
Fact.
When it's just like, this guy does his patented home run celebration, and everyone's like, look at this fucking idiot. It's just like,
all right. I'm glad you brought that up. I could sit here and say that that's his patented celebration, and also say he looks like a fucking loser while doing that shit down 8-3 or 8-2, whatever the fuck the score was at that point. 2 things can be true. I don't care that much to write fucking 15 tweet threads like other Yankee fans, because quite frankly, Yankee fans in general, and maybe I'm guilty of it. No, I'm not. I don't boo him at the stadium. We offer Vlad too much respect. Is Vlad a good player? Yes, not arguing. Vlad hasn't done shit to me to boo him. Like, the Toronto Blue Jays haven't done shit to me to want to boo any of them. They just exist, bro. They exist. They make a nice little playoff run every now and again. Well, I can't say playoff run. Excuse me. No, they make the playoffs every now and again. Excuse me. They've won 0 playoff games in the Vlad era. Why am I booing Vlad? Vlad's existence has been nothing but quiet and, well, relatively speaking, quiet and peaceful to me. He's done nothing to me. He's hit the occasional big home run in a May baseball game against the Yankees. Great, a lot of people have. I don't give a fuck about that. A lot of people have. But either way, yeah, I saw the back and forth about it. It's like, oh yeah, he does this all the time. Yeah, and we could laugh at him for it. What's your point? We could laugh at him for that shit. It looks goofy when you're doing that shit down 8-2. It looks fucking goofy. Anybody else does that shit, I'd have the same. Well, me personally, I don't care about Vlad the way other Yankee fans do. Anybody does that against my favorite team, I'm gonna have that same reaction. Juan Soto does a fucking Soto shuffle down 8-3 in the 8th inning. I'm gonna be like, yeah, that looks kind of crazy. Am I gonna verbalize it out loud? Probably not. But that's beside the point. But it looks crazy.
I think if Encarnacion hit the same home run there and did the parrot on the shoulder celebration, no one says anything.
I would. That looks crazy. But you're right. Less people would speak, though, because nobody had any reason to talk about Edwin Encarnacion. He went to work.
They were a better team then. Right. They were more of a threat then.
The thing is, like, Edwin Encarnacion played baseball. He ain't say shit and he went home. Vlad been dick riding the Yankees since he got into the league. Again, I don't care that much about it. Other people do. But that's what it is. That's the difference. There was no reason to dislike Edwin Encarnacion. That man just he hit his home runs. He walked his little parrot around the bases, and that was it. He went home. That's all he did.
I think the biggest travesty about Edwin Encarnacion is when the Reds just cut bait with him, the Red Sox weren't all over that. If you talk about a guy with a swing tailor-made for the Green Monster, how many did he finish with? It had to have been 400.
Well, I'd be surprised if he got to 400.
Yeah, no, it's probably in the 3s, but he was fucking socking 424. Yeah, what?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You talk about, like, that's the difference between 424 and 500 in the Hall of Fame if he had come to the Red Sox. Because he played in Cincinnati till he was 26, and then he goes to Toronto. And he was great with Toronto, obviously. Led the league in RBI, top 20 MVP votes, was 5 out of 6 years, multiple All-Stars. Him being a DH for the Red Sox would have been unbelievable.
I'm glad that never happened. Very happy that never happened. Nobody needed him taking aim at the fucking at Lansdowne Street all the time. Nobody needed that. But
well, he did it 19 times a year, and it was always infuriating.
Fair. Sorry, nobody needed to see him do it in a Red Sox uniform, rather. But yes, he did. He did do numbers at Fenway. He did. That is a fact.
I'm pulling up his career at Fenway.
Get the fucking Blue Jays out of here, though, man. Bozos, losers, get them out of here. Run them out. Get them out. 10-2. 2.48 ERA the Yankees got through 12 games, man. The best since 1964. The gas station's doing their thing, man. Matt Blake, he's him. What can I say?
He played 141 games in Boston, or against the. This is just against the Red Sox. I don't know if I can find it by field. It's right here. I just had to scroll a little bit farther. I'm a moron. He played 66 games at Fenway Park. He hit only 20 home runs, which is shocking.
Yo, saying only 20 about a 66 game sample is hilarious, by the way. I know what you
No,
meant.
I know, but it felt like.
But like, it's still funny because that's like a 60 home run pace, is it not, or close enough to it? No, not 60.
It is. So he played. He played obviously at Cincinnati and Toronto, so I'm going to remove them from the equation. Cleveland, he did play in Cleveland for a bit, but he only played in Cleveland, I think, for a year or two. So he had 35 in Progressive. The next highest is that 20.
Nice, love it. I love it. He used to
get after Boston, man. So Yankee Stadium, he hit 26, but I know he played for the Yankees too.
Very short lived.
For how long?
But he did.
Yeah, he was there 44 games. He hit 13 of them there, so he was still doing a fuck ton of damage against them as a Blue Jay.
He was. He did. I was very happy. I was very happy he got out of the division. Very happy.
900 career OPS again at Fenway Park.
And the Red Sox never signed him. They did us all a solid.
He only hit 8 doubles. Like he was like, no, the wall's just a little higher. I'm not gonna hit a double. What am I, an asshole?
Only 8 doubles is funny as well. What was the game sample again? 66, you said?
66.
Only 8. That's very
funny. No.
There's only so much room for Edwin Encarnacion to hit a fucking double anyway. Because he's pulling fly balls, bro. If he hits it off the wall, it's a single.
Well, I'm sure that's the thing. I'm sure most of these doubles were in the triangle, which means they were home runs literally everywhere else. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Encarnacion is someone the second, because I believe he was waived by Cincinnati and then traded to Toronto. I'm pretty sure like they were just going to release him. And I was just like, what year was that? Because now I'm going to get just more angry. 2009. That would have been perfect. Perfect timing.
That didn't happen. And 2009 was a great year. Hopefully 2024 is another great year.
For what?
Oh, man, the Yankee championship run in the fall, man. Hopefully it's a great year for that.
I just still... what's the Clay Holmes update?
I don't know, man. People are so mad about Clay. Listen, first of all, I understand how this goes. Closers are kind of like offensive coordinators. Everybody hates theirs. I understand the game. I understand this. I understand how it works. What I don't understand about the Clay Holmes discourse among Yankee fans is they'll be like, yeah, we need a real shutdown closer like Josh Hader. Holmes' numbers are better than his for the last 2 years. First of all. Second of all, oh, well, he makes me nervous. Yeah, he's saving 1-run games. What the fuck do you expect? Like, yes, not everybody's Mariano Rivera, where, all right, for the most part, he came in, that shit was done. Like, this is not that. Understood. It's just the numbers say what they say. I don't like a sinker ball pitcher as my closer. Well, would you rather a guy who's more prone to fly balls in 1-run games? I don't. People just don't want to be happy, number one. And number two, Yankee fans, to be fair with them, they don't understand what it's really supposed to look like because they watched a fucking Alien for 20 years. They don't understand what it's supposed to look like. It took me a while to understand after Mariano left that, oh, this is what normal is for most people. So I understand. I like Clay Holmes, personally. I think he's a really good closer. 1-run games with him make me nervous because it's a 1-run game in the 9th fucking inning. It makes me nervous. And he's prone to getting BABIP'd to death. That he gets weak contacted to death. So, yeah.
I mean, that's, to be fair to Clay Holmes, which is a sentence I didn't think I would say, that's when Mariano did give up a
Right.
game, it was seldom hard contact. It was Bill Miller squeaking one through.
Like somebody compared Clay to Mariano directly, just strictly on numbers, and that went how it went on Twitter because people just
That's an insane
listen.
idea.
It's a really bad idea on its surface because people just don't want to read, and they're just going to go straight to how could you put him in the same sense as Mariano, as if anybody's claiming he's
That's crazy.
Nobody said he's as good. They just said Clay's peak and Mariano's peak were pretty similar, whatever you want to call it. Just appreciate Clay Holmes more. That's the main point. I'm not trying to get nobody to appreciate Clay Holmes because I realize everybody hates their relievers. All fans of teams hate their fucking relievers. That's just what it is. I'm not here to change nobody's mind, but he's good. The bullpen is good. They got the 4th best ERA in the sport. The starting pitching is good. We got the 5th best ERA in the sport. And Juan Soto's a New York Yankee. Life is good. Life is good. Oh, he's not going nowhere. You might see me in tears on the show if he does. Like no joke.
I was gonna say, yeah,
no
remains
joke.
to be seen.
You might see me in tears, like legit real tears on the show if we come on here after Juan Soto signs somewhere else. I don't need
that. Well, we'll wait and see. For now, I get to go watch Jackson Holliday's debut. It's kind of embarrassing. The Orioles need him to compete with Cutter Crawford, but I don't blame him.
I don't even understand why did they waste his time with the 10 days in the minors anyway.
Why are they debuting him on the road?
That too. I didn't even think about that. Good point. Yeah, I don't
like let's ship them up to Fenway, give them a peek.
The opener of the season was at home. Oh yeah, they played the Angels at home. So it's like, why?
Yeah, smoke.
Like, why did you wait 10 days? You didn't get an extra year of team control? What was gained here by sitting of 10 days? He needed to work on his defense. Is that what you're trying to tell me? What happened here? What was the point?
They wanted him to get more looks against, I believe, left-handed pitching, and I think he got the number I saw. I think it was single digits against like it was like 7 or 10, one of those two. I know 10 is not single digits, but it wasn't like enough to be like he's ready.
Why can't you just get him left-handed at bats against lefties in the fucking pros? I don't know. Either way, I'm glad they brought him up now to take the Red Sox down. I appreciate that. What are the vibes like now that everything's happened since 48 hours ago? What are the vibes like now for the Red Sox faithful?
Well, yesterday's opening day was like I didn't know how they were going to play baseball after the intro they had, where it was like the rest in peace Tim Wakefield, Larry Lucchino montage. It was just like this is it's like this is brutal. Like it needs to be done, obviously, and the Red Sox do a really good job with stuff like that. But I was like, I can't imagine watching all that and then being like super competitive, like flipping a switch after that. Tyler O'Neill hit his home run, which is just what he does now, and then Bale looked great. If Duran catches that ball, like Duran said, that game goes much differently. Burns looked unbelievable, obviously. Everyone who keeps telling me we can't have left-handed hitters because of left-handed pitching. When righties carve us up, it's like, well, okay, well, I think we just need good hitters. I don't give a fuck what side of the plate they stand on at all.
Amen. Keep going.
So I don't know. Like we have too many young guys who are just here for me to get like. I don't think there's going to be consistent vibes no matter what. It's just too many young guys all in their own. Like it's just not a team right now. It's just a lot of individuals, which is a lot of baseball teams at every level. It's a lot of individuals. Special ones seem to gel together. No one was predicting this to be a special team in a positive way, at least. So if I'm just looking for, okay, what's Bailey doing with the pitching staff? What's Rafaela doing wherever he's playing? How's his swing look? Is he going to be Hunter Pence or is he going to be terrible? You know what I mean? Like which is it? Which outcome is going to happen? Tyler O'Neill, what's going to happen with him this season? All of it. So I'd like the vibes. Depending, I think it's just depends who you ask. Like Trevor Story, worst vibes in the league at the moment. Like the saddest the person can be.
Yes. True.
Well, it's true. Like Duran, terrible vibes to the point where people are talking about doing a standing ovation for him today. Like he's like, stop stealing stuff from Philly. Like that's so whack to me. He's not like Trey Turner was objectively
No,
awful. Durant just dropped a pop fly. Like I'm not saying boo him either, but standing ovation. Now he's gonna feel like an asshole.
yeah, I feel like giving a standing ovation after like 3 months of struggle is a little bit different than giving one after one play, because it's like all you're doing is making him remember said play. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they're giving me a nice round of applause. Oh, it's because I fucked up on Monday. They feel bad for me. Got it. I don't see the point of it. But I'm not gonna stop people from cheering for their players. Please cheer. We need more
No, I
positivity.
mean Durant.
A standing ovation feels
Like I said earlier, he's been
given the context.
he's been one of the lone bright spots on the team so far. Yeah, he fucked up tremendously. We also lost 7-1. Like obviously his error didn't help things, but it also didn't lose them the game. Like it's just not on him. So that's where it's like, yeah,
the Red Sox
just
have
move
one
on.
hit
Like,
till like the 8th inning, if I'm not mistaken?
I think Tyler O'Neill's hit was the last one.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
Like it was just not. That's where it was just like, listen, when the Red Sox have scored more than one run this year, they are 6-0. 6-0 in regulation, excuse me. When they score one run or more than one run and through 9 innings, they are undefeated, best team in baseball. They're 1-4 in games where they score one run or less in regulation. And it's just like, we can talk about the defense. Listen, the people were furious we lost 2-1 to the Angels, and everyone was like, Devers needs to make that play. Sure, don't necessarily disagree. That's not why they lost the game. They lost the game because they scored one run against Reed fucking Detmers. That was why they lost the game. Like that was the whole reason they lost. So, yeah, they score runs. That's all I need.
Go Yankees. And Aaron Judge hasn't even gotten started yet, man. Aaron Judge hasn't even got started. Like his numbers look good and all that. Like he has a 141 WRC plus, and that's cool. But he hasn't really gotten it cracking yet. And Juan Soto lives on the base paths. It's great. It's gonna be a good summer.
He does. He's gonna steal 30 bags this year.
I was shocked when they said, "There goes Soto." I'm like, where? There goes Soto. Where? Where's he going? They still saying, like, great, love that.